Alright guys, in this video I have a 2011 Kia Rondo with a 2.7 liter engine, and the customer's concern is that the check engine light is on, and they also have a description. Is when they take and they're at a gas station and they're filling up the car, after they're done filling it up, they have a hard time to, the vehicle doesn't want to start afterwards. So I already have a pretty good idea what's going on just by that complaint. Well, that concern I should say. But we are going to do a small verification first, which is we're going to take the car, we're going to start it, we're going to make sure our check engine light is on, which it is. And for this one, we're going to be using the Vpecker, only because my hotel is at home. So we're going to take and plug up the Vpecker, and I'm going to go up to my laptop and we're going to see if we can't diagnose this car. So I'm going to pause you guys and I'm going to hook everything up. So the Vpecker was able to read the VIN, but it wasn't able to read everything else. So we're going to go and choose that right now, US. And we're going to see if it can load everything up afterwards. Model, nope. So we're going to look for Rondo. Year, I said it was a 2011. It's going to be 2010, so we'll take that. And engine was a 2.7. And we'll go next. Now we're going to go on to system selection. We're going to go engine control, because I don't believe that I need to do a full system scan on this one. And we are going to take and bring up the trouble codes. We're going to read them. So we have one that's present and history. Evaporative emission system incorrect purge flow, P0441. Now we're going to come back and we're going to go to our data list. And there's a few things that I want to see on my data list. We are going to start the vehicle. So I'm going to take and I want to bring up my fuel tank pressure sensor. Value option. I gotta make sure that I get the voltage one. There it is. There we go. So we're gonna take those ones. We're gonna go forward. And we are at 2.6 volts onto the fuel tank pressure sensor. And that is with the key on, engine off, so the vehicle isn't turned on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to start the vehicle, and I want to see if this guy stays at 2.6, which it should, because my purge valve should not be activated, which means there should be no vacuum being taken from the intake. So I'm going to go start the car, and I will pause you guys while I do that. So as you can see, my voltage went down to 2.4 volts. Now that might not seem like a big change, but that is actually enough to indicate that there is an issue onto the vehicle. So this is what I'm going to do now, is that I'm going to bring you guys over to the vehicle with the vehicle started, and I'm just going to take and pinch off a hose going to leading back to my canister from my purge control valve, and I want you guys to watch the voltage as I do that. Now I'm letting it go. Now I'm going to pinch it again. So as you can tell, when I was pinching the hose on and off, you've seen that there was a voltage fluctuation. And that is due to, more than likely, the purge valve being stuck open and constantly sucking fuel vapors from the fuel tank and the canister. So we're going to go one step further now. I'm going to bring you guys over to the car, and we're going to hook up a vacuum gauge to the purge solenoid valve. I'm just going to run over and get the vacuum gauge. So here's a trusty little vacuum gauge. Now in order to do this test properly, I already have a video on doing this, and that video is onto a Chevrolet Cruze if I'm not mistaken. I'll put a link in the video, but I'm going to go over some of the same processes in this one. We're going to take and we're going to disconnect our purge valve, because I don't want the PCM to have any control over it whatsoever. And we are going to take and we are going to remove our hose for leading back to the canister. I don't know if you guys can hear that. If you can't, that's okay. I'm going to show you guys physically. Now we're going to take and hook up the vacuum gauge. And as you can see, we are reading roughly, I'd say about 17.5 inches of vacuum onto this. Now, don't forget, this valve is supposed to be normally closed. The only time that this valve is supposed to be open is when the PCM determines that it's time to go through a purge cycle, which will close off the vent valve, activate the purge, and suck all the excess fumes out of the canister that have been collecting inside the canister. So this tells me that my purge valve is defective. Now, the customer's complaint is that every time that shit would fill up, the car wouldn't start afterwards. Now, my theory on that is that every time that shit would fill up, it would create an excess amount of fumes into the tank, which then would be carried to the canister, and as soon as the car would start, well, you would have a rich condition going on that would stop the car from starting. So that's pretty much a diagnostic onto this P0441 onto this Rondo. Is it going to be the case on every single Rondo that you get with a P0441? No. This is just a variable that could happen onto this engine. So I'm going to leave that be like that, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little video, and if you did, please like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you guys next time.